Aaron Rodgers said he would be back this season, or he would try, those of us who have watched the NFL and seen Achilles injuries thought, there's no way. Much like the character that he dressed up for as Halloween a couple years ago, yeah, he's thinking he's back at Jets practice at the very least. John Briscoe from Locked On Jets joins me now. And John, you and I sat on this program a couple weeks ago when it seemed like this was a possibility that Aaron Rodgers could, in fact, or at least said he wanted to come back, and thought, there's no way. What is your reaction now to seeing him back on the practice field less than 80 days after he tore his Achilles?
You know, I think the last time we spoke, I said, I'll believe he's taking the field for a game when I see it. I still kind of feel that way. You know, it's one thing to be healthy enough to be able to do a couple drills in practice. It's another thing to be healthy enough to be able to play in a game. And it's still another to be healthy enough for it to be a good idea. And I think that as much as anything, let's just say hypothetically, let's play devil's advocate. Rodgers is actually healthy enough to take the field. I think he's aiming for Christmas Eve when the Jets play the Commanders. I don't know the Jets are going to have a lot to play for right then. This is a team that's 4-7. They're in 15th place because of tiebreakers in the 16-team AFC. They're 2 games out of the last playoff spot with only 6 to go. You know, two games doesn't sound like that much, but when you consider they're in 15th place, have to get to 7th, 6 games left. This is a team that's out of the race right now. Now, maybe they surprise us. They run off a couple of wins, and this is a discussion. But even in this scenario where he's ready to go, why would you rush him back? Why would you put him on the field unless the games are actually meaningful? So I still would be kind of surprised to see it happen. I mean, I think you can never rule anything out 100%, but it's one thing to see him active. It's another that we actually will get him on the field.
Yeah, Falcons, Texans, and Dolphins are the next 3. And so there's a good chance that they're going to be not favored. They'll be underdogs in all 3 of those games coming up here. They could well be out of the race very quickly. This has elicited a lot of incredulity, John, about motivations for Rodgers to come back. I think a lot of questions of like, why is he trying so hard to come back to what is an obviously flawed team? And then there are going to be the skeptics who say this is a PR move that is meant to inspire his teammates to play a little harder in case he can come back at a future date, but is not actually designed to get him back on the football field. How plausible do you think those sorts of scenarios are?
You know, the thing is, because the Jets are out of the race, we'll never find out. You know, if the Jets were actually closer in this thing, like we actually would be able to kind of figure this thing out.
Tim Boyle, don't fail us. Come on, I want to see it.
I like that. I long ago this is even before he came to the Jets. Stopped trying to figure out what Aaron Rodgers was doing a long time ago. You may know better. You may have a better read on this.
I lived that life, sir. Yes.
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm sorry. I know that's not great analysis from one of your guests on this show.
If he were healthy, do you buy some of the explanations that are out there about why it would be smart or why it would be useful for him to come back? Because even if he were healthy enough to come back in 2 games when, let's be honest, they're probably going to be 4-9 or 4-8 or 5-8, it doesn't seem like a smart idea to put him out there to risk future injury when this whole idea is predicated on Aaron Rodgers fixing a quarterback position that has been broken for 60 years.
I think part of the problem is that the quarterback situation has been an issue for the Jets this year, but the entire offense is broken, especially the offensive line. And I think that's a key point, because even if Rodgers is cleared to play, even if they say, you know what, you can go out there and play, he's probably not going to be very mobile. I mean, yeah, it'd be unbelievable if he could somehow get on the field for a game, but that doesn't mean he's going to be the old Aaron Rodgers. And I think one of the things that set Aaron Rodgers apart from a lot of quarterbacks was his ability to create outside the pocket, his ability to move left and move right.
One of the best to ever do it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, you know this better than I do. It seemed to me like even last year that was kind of going away. I just can't imagine a guy who is coming off an Achilles injury. If he's on the field 3 months later, he's not going to be able to move at all. This is an offensive line that's constantly, it's not just that they've had to play backups, it's that every single week there's been an injury. So in addition to getting like lower level guys out there, they've had to reshuffle this thing. There's been no continuity. Offensive line's a spot where chemistry really matters. So I even if he was healthy, I really would hesitate to put him out there because I think he's going to have a lot of problems with the state of the offensive line.
Stay up to date all year on the New York Jets by subscribing to Locked On Sports today and Locked On Jets on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube.